Hello, my name's Matt and you're watching Pixel Burn, where I take a look at some of the more interesting things that happened in gaming this week while rendering myself increasingly unemployable. In honour of this week's N7 Day, a completely made up day that doesn't even have its own hallmark card, not yet anyway, BioWare's Casey Hudson released some teaser screenshots from the upcoming Mass Effect 4. There's only about 5 of them, but as you can see here, the photorealistic level of detail in the character models is simply astounding. Take this chap here for example, sporting a superbly textured white fleece jacket. One can only speculate what his role will be in the finished game, but given he has some sort of control device in hand, I imagine we're looking at the pilot of whatever ship will be flying around the galaxy in. And who couldn't fall in love with this other human NPC and his heartwarming smile, presumably another member of the player's bridge crew. As you can see here, the in-game background objects and textures are simply placeholders at the moment. Scenes like this, however, on board the player's ship in Mass Effect 4 really show off BioWare's excellent character designs and I'm kidding, of course. The real screenshots on all those monitors in the background. Screenshots that are mostly blurry and lacking in detail thanks to monitor glow and the glare of the sun and from being photographed off a bloody screen. You might just be able to make out some of what we can expect to see in the finished game if you squint so hard the pressure on your eyeballs splits your retinas open. Still, it looks like the Montreal team are making good progress and I'm tentatively excited to play the next Mass Effect game. And I do mean tentatively, I still have psychological scars from the original ending to Mass Effect 3. Of particular interest to me was BioWare lead designer Ian Frazier tweeting this lovely picture of the Mako from Mass Effect 1, with a comment about drawing inspiration for the future. So there'd better be a Mako in Mass Effect 4 because it was one of the best things about the original, and anyone who tells you otherwise is a liar who hates fun, and probably wants to put you in prison or something, and kill your dog. Gods, I love the Mako. Speaking of things I once loved, World of Warcraft's next expansion has been officially confirmed at this year's BlizzCon. Called Warlords of Draenor, the new expansion raises the level cap to 100 and adds a whole new world to explore. Except it's not actually a new world. Draenor is what Outland from the Burning Crusade used to be, and Outland is just Draenor after it exploded into a squillion broken pieces, floating in space. Yep, Blizzard have resorted to the old time travel gimmick for this one. Quelle surprise. As well as time travel, WoW lore nerds can also expect more thrilling storylines about characters getting corrupted somehow, going on to commit countless atrocities that will collectively put Hitler, Stalin and Pol Pot to shame, all before magically redeeming themselves with a single trivial act of virtue, like saving a dying unicorn with a blood transfusion or telling everyone they're really sorry. Along with more lore inconsistencies and the usual expansion stuff, players can look forward to their own in-game garrison they can upgrade, along with updated character models to make everything look a bit prettier. While the old school orcs in this trailer certainly get my old loyal to the Horde heart pumping, besides that all this trailer really makes me want to do is play Warcraft 3 again.
War never changes.
And finally, Valve showed off one of their 300 Steam Machine prototypes to Joe Public this week, with lovely pictures splashed all over tech sites, The Verge and Engadget. As well as the console itself, to use the term loosely, The Verge has this interesting and somewhat disturbing gallery of prototype Steam controllers, sporting everything from bulbous red trackballs to copious amounts of duct tape. Your chances of owning one of the new Steam Machine prototypes is pretty slim unless you joined the Steam Universe community group, agreed to the beta terms and conditions, have at least 10 Steam friends, created a public Steam community profile, and played a game using a controller in big picture mode, all before October 25th. For the type of machine you'll be able to buy from retailers, you'll have to wait until January 2014, when Valve's hardware and software partners reveal their machines for regular oiks like you and I. Meanwhile, Deep Silver have announced that each of the 300 prototypes will be bundled with a copy of Metro Last Light, which will either put them through their paces or kill them stone dead. Speaking of consoles, the Xbox One will be available in under 2 weeks in most of the world, albeit not all of it. And in the run-up to this, Microsoft have released a 12-minute video demo showcasing the Xbox One's new user interface, as well as some of the features we'll be able to enjoy at launch. Demonstrated here by Yusuf Mehdi and Mark Whitten, the first thing you notice is it's very neat, clean and clutter-free, mercifully devoid of all the ads and other guff clogging up the current Xbox UI like so much congealed spunk. One feature they showcased is the handy ability to have more than one person signed in at a time on a single Xbox One console. In the demo, this is done by the Xbox Kinect sensor's biometric login function detecting your presence in the room. like a technological overseer in a grim future dystopia. Only one profile at a time will be active, however, but switching to yours will be as simple as saying, Xbox, show my stuff. I predict some potential problems with that.
Xbox, show my stuff. 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 Show my Xbox. Show my stuff. Show my Xbox. Show my Xbox. Show my stuff.
Other features include a customizable colour scheme on the home screen, so you're no longer stuck with the standard Microsoft green. You can also suspend games to browse the internet or watch Netflix before resuming where you left off later on. Despite this demo's focus on gaming, however, Microsoft is still pushing the boring old TV is really great honest message they've been banging on about since they first announced the console. Whenever they mention the NFL or TV in the video, it's a bit like someone sneaking up behind you and flicking your ear. It's not enough to drive you to murder, but still fucking annoying. Yusuf and Mark also showed off Xbox One's Skype functionality, in which the Kinect camera tracks you and your friend's every move, like a robot prison guard programmed to keep you all on suicide watch. In the demo, Yusuf and Mark talk via Skype to their chum Harry, who gives us a brief guided tour of his whopping great living room, before his adorable dog appears. The dog is not recognised by the Kinect camera, however, so you can forget about giving your pet an Xbox Live profile. Speaking of profiles, the Xbox One has an activity feed so you and your friends can all keep track of each other's online activities. As well as messages and the usual social media tripe, you can also record snippets of gameplay for all your friends to like, share, comment on and all that jazz. Mark demonstrates this by recording footage of himself playing Forza and footage of himself on the couch playing Forza with the Kinect camera. So as well as showing your friends your in-game skills, you can also treat them to the sight of you wanking yourself raw while doing so. Unless you live under the proverbial rock, the release of a new Call of Duty game is often impossible to ignore. You could be forgiven, however, for missing the release of Call of Duty Ghosts this week, given the rather lukewarm response it's received from critics. While I normally wouldn't piss on Metacritic if I saw it on fire in the street, the average Metascore for Call of Duty Ghost Dog Way of the Samurai is a noticeable departure from previous instalments. I trust the average user reviews on there about as far as I could probably throw the user in question, but it's the average critic review scores that are particularly interesting. Plenty of critic reviews for Call of Duty Ghosts still score the game in the 80s, but there's a lot less of the unconditional gushing praise that a Call of Duty title usually receives. In fact, even some of the more positive reviews suggest that the gameplay has become a bit stale, rote, by the numbers and, dare I say it, even humdrum. Which is the most likely reason headlines about Call of Duty Ghosts selling $1 billion worth of copies in a single day have been doing the rounds on various low-rate news sites. You might think that's still very impressive for a game with such a modest critical response, but take a closer look at the articles in question. Actually, I'll save you the trouble. The $1 billion worth of copies sold is what Activision have sold to retailers, which is a whole fucking world of difference from $1 billion worth of copies sold to you fine people. Of course, this hasn't stopped every 2-bit fucking hack on the planet shitting out a headline that Call of Duty Ghosts has sold $1 billion worth of copies like it's gospel sodding truth. The implication being it's beaten GTA 5's $1 billion in actual sales to customers over 3 days, but you're not meant to think too deeply about that. You're meant to just accept the headline at face value like a brainless little chimp, so the site in question can add another notch to its view count for more ad revenue. For vomiting up a press release unconditionally, a less than scrupulous gaming news site also gets to stay in Activision's good books, and possibly wangle some future exclusive for towing the line like good little boys and girls. Activision meanwhile gets to control the message, spinning a less than stellar Call of Duty installment as another unstoppable success, and keep its shareholders content. That's all for this episode of Pixel Burn. If you enjoyed it, then please do let me know via either a comment below in the new god-awful comment system, or by simply clicking the like button under the video. At the very least, I hope you found it tolerable, in which case you can brave the comment section below and try to get a message to me that way. If you didn't enjoy it, however, well, I'm going to send a press release to a load of low-rate game sites, telling them that this video could possibly be viewed by up to 6 billion people, thereby drowning out your complaints with unnecessary hype. Until next time, you can go now.